meantime, a problem is building in the airspace around Victoria's International Airport. The airport and residents who enjoy feeding birds live side by side, but the clear danger that the birds could collide with aircraft is bringing some tension to North Saanich. Bruce Kirkpatrick reports.
Looking up and looking out for the birds. For almost 40 years, Gareth James and his mother Wendy have been feeding birds in their backyard next to the Victoria Airport. They demonstrated for Czech News the method they used to use to feed the birds, something they say they don't do anymore, but a problem still exists because they're still feeding the birds, albeit with smaller food. Gareth actually calls them. Then Gareth and Wendy got a phone call this week.
I was wondering if you'd give me a call at your convenience.
The Victoria Airport Authority is concerned about birds the James family feed and aircraft taking off and landing in the same airspace. Gareth and his mom say they have the right to look after feathered flyers, which need extra food, especially in the wintertime, to stay healthy.
We fed the birds for 38 years, and there's no bylaw against feeding the birds.
You checked?
I checked at the town hall, yes, and they told me that.
The guy on the phone is Terry Stewart.
Become a significant concern for the safety of the traveling public.
And in this instance, we have a local member of the community that's been feeding birds, really attracting large flocks of gulls and crows.
Which is on the flight path.
It happens to be on the approach path to one of our runways.
3 years ago, a jet taking off from New York City ingested birds. Both engines failed. The jet landed in the Hudson River, and it was called the Miracle of the Hudson. Just last Monday, a WestJet flight to Calgary had to return to Vancouver after an apparent bird strike and seagull remains were found on the runway.
Obviously, bird strikes are a hazard to aviation. We've got the second busiest runway in the province.
Don't you worry about the fact a bird could bring down a plane if it got caught in the propeller or a jet engine?
I think the birds are smart enough to worry for themselves, and they've scatter when there's anything leaving the airport.
Gareth and Wendy James have agreed to stop feeding the gulls and crows if they can, but when they feed small birds, big birds show up too. There's an associated problem as neighbors have complained about bird droppings. Feeding birds is not illegal. Endangering aircraft is. And that's the dilemma at an international airport and a North Saanich home. The James have not yet met with the Victoria Airport Authority.